Right, hello viewers, if there is anybody left after that absolute mess. Well, you joined me just in time for the end of qualifying, apologies for that. Some technical issues getting the stream online. We are right at the end of qualifying now, and you can see how things are panning out for our race this week at Monza. So the first of 3 races, as always, this season in the Group 4 cars, and we are with the Jags this week. So everybody in the same car, 2 races for the Group 4 Jaguars and then 1 in the Group 3 alternative. You can see at the minute we are watching TMC Jono come round, and he is currently occupying pole position. I'm pretty sure, from the look of it, everybody else has finished. So it looks like Jono is going to climb pole for the first race of the evening. There we have it, so a shade under 155 gets pole position for Jono, only just from unsafe release, who's putting out fantastic effort there to qualify second ahead of T. Smith. So he'll be looking to mix it up down the run to the first corner. So our grid for race 1 is as follows. We've got Jono on pole, unsafe release second, T. Smith third, then Rom, Garni, Aaron, Feber, Lee Cole, Blue Flag, British Daddy, Positive Rost in his first race this season. Houdini's Wi-Fi in 12th, followed by Lennon, Junkie Sport, and at the back, just Mikey H. So 15 minutes of Monza, Group 4 Jaguars. And we're away. Unsafe release looks to have got a pretty good start. He's going to have the inside line down into the first corner. He's getting alongside Jono. Couple of 3 wides here, including at the front. T. Smith's going to look to all the way around the outside, and Jono's been squeezed out. T. Smith hits the brakes hard, gives unsafe release a little bit of a bump, and it looks like that is going to be T. Smith into the lead. Indeed it is at the minute, although unsafe release is challenging to come back. He's not going to give up the lead that easily. But it looks like, yeah, T. Smith has got ahead, come down to this tricky chicane here. Got to be careful, especially with regards to picking up penalties. It's so easy to cut the corner, and then it's quite easy as well to run wide. It looks like, as we flip back through, everybody has gone through safely. Just Mikey's still at the back. Junkie Sport is the first to pick up a penalty through said chicane. Everything fairly clean so far. Good evening, P-Man. Good to have you on board, mate. Glad to see some people find their way here eventually. I was struggling for a while. Just to compound my misery, I'm not very well this evening. So if I do start sneezing fit or my voice starts going, forgive me. I've got every possible remedy I can lined up here. So I'll see how we go. T. Smith making a slight break at the minute. He's half a second clear. Unsafe is coming under pressure from Jono. And Garni and Ron not too far behind. We missed the opportunity at the start due to the delays, but we've got the latest tables to run through, which we will probably do after this first race. Makes for a very interesting reading. It's going to be, I'm expecting some tight battles here tonight in an effort to pick up the points. Aaron back in 7th at the minute, followed by Blue Flag, Lee Cole and British Daddy. He's made a decent start. He's into 10th, just tucking in behind Lee, who's picked himself up a second penalty. We've gone down to the tight first chicane for the second time tonight. Lee just about holding his ground there. He gets through. We've got someone on the grass up front. I think it was Pagani. He's got himself a penalty for it, but he's managed to squeeze himself up into third, but unsafe release is coming back at him. All this letting T. Smith and now Jono start to stretch a slight gap at the front. Looking good for Team Premature Acceleration at the minute. These 2 guys at the front already looking to stretch the gap. Struggling tonight, isn't it? for people picking up penalties now. You can see it's quite easy to lead them off coming into the corners, as long as you're not trying too hard to hit the brakes too late. People are quite easily able to drop the penalties off at the minute. Having a look back through, Lee looks to have escaped Daddy somewhat. He's lashed himself back onto this leading train. It's a train of 9 at the minute, followed by about a 2-second gap back to Bread. Lennon and Houdini's Wi-Fi just tucking it behind. A lot of pink cars out. We've got one team in sort of purplish livery and one team in pink. It's really difficult to tell them apart. Positive Ross, his first race back, unfortunately he missed the first couple of weeks of the season. It looks to be telling at the minute. 4 seconds back into lap 3, and T. Smith still leads. We've got Pagani challenging unsafe release again, who's holding on gamely. But that's going to let Rom in, and he's going to get past Pagani at least temporarily to head into 4th place. Guess what? I managed to figure out how we get on board. Hopefully I can figure out how to get it back. It's going to be a very odd viewing experience. See, Rom's managed to get the gap back to Pagani there. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Professional. Fairly tight here at the front. We've got nearly a second gap now, so T. Smith hoping to stretch the gap now that he's broken the slipstream back to his teammate. But it's still not that far away. I mean, obviously when we're talking Monza, you've got plenty of straight sections, plenty of opportunities to sort of beat people down in the braking zone, especially down to the first corner. But it's still not that easy when you're in a big train of cars like this, because every potential move possibly lets somebody else in, and we have got 3 wide down into Parabolica. It looks like Pagani's back down. Unsafe release holds on, but he is under intense amount of pressure. I think every time we've flicked back to him so far, he's been suffering a challenge from behind. And this time it's going to be his teammate Rom as they go side by side down the home straight into lap 4. Very close here. Come down. Rom has the inside line. Unsafe release, not able to hold on. He's still going to give it a go, and Pagani's still interested as well. And this time it looks like Rom has got the move done on his Team Brexit teammate. Spreading out a bit more further back. Mikey's made his way up to 13th, so he's making decent progress, having started at the back. Junkie Sport has been relegated to 14th, and it's allowed Positive Ross to close the gap a little bit. That was 4 seconds, now 2.5. It looks like Junkie Sport's had a bit of an incident somewhere. The main battle that we see at the minute is back up for 3rd place. Got unsafe Pagani, and now Feber getting involved as well. So it's not even a Team Brexit sandwich for Pagani at the minute. It's more like a Team Brexit club sandwich, which nobody wants. It's Pagani in the classic silk cut Jag livery. Looks to make his way up from 5th, but he really has got Feber to worry about down the start-finish straight here. Less than a 10th between them as they come out of Parabolica. Is he going to make a move into the first turn? No, he's too far back, and same can be said for Feber as well. See how close it is down the start-finish straight there, but no room to make a manoeuvre this time. So these guys gonna bide their time. The gap at the front is growing. So there are penalties to bleed off. T-Smith's now got 1.4 seconds, Jono 1.1. They'll be concentrating now, though, with just over 6 minutes to go in the first race, to just try and stretch that gap a little bit more and make the penalties somewhat inconsequential, or at least make them easy enough to bleed off. See how T-Smith goes down into Ascari. Expect you might see him just hit the brakes slightly early. You can see the car ghosting, just drops a tenth off the penalty. Gets it nice and easy through there, making sure he doesn't pick up any more. Yeah, that's okay. John a bit further back. Rom's starting to gain on him slightly. Be interesting to see whether these guys work together to try and catch up to second place, although I think Garni is still causing trouble in the background, looking to make the move on unsafe release down into Parabolica, but he drops out at the last second. It is as you were going into lap 6, but still particularly close between these two, so we'll keep an eye on them coming down into turn 1. Garni swings to the inside. Unsafe late move to try and block him off. Garni's bumped across the curb and across. Oh, and he's been reset. I think it was, to be honest, I think it was a late move from unsafe release. I'm going to try something. As we see Pagani drop all the way to 12th place, he's going to be fuming. If this crashes the stream, I apologise. Let's see. Safe release. I'm going to try something. As we see Pagani drop all. Never mind. We'll try again later. I'm still learning, okay? Have got the replay feature, although it seems to include my voice as well, which is not ideal. I think we will try that again later, next time we have an incident, but as we can see, Pagani's head is absolutely gone now. He is all the way down to 13th. It looked as if, we'd have to watch the proper replay back, but it looked as if he looked to make the move down the inside of turn 1, and then unsafe release either slid or cut across him, forced him off the track, and then in trying to get through the barriers, he got reset back on the straight. So, absolute disaster for Pagani. What it does leave is T-Smith still in the lead, Jono in second, those two unaffected by all that, and they've stretched their lead considerably. Unsafe remains in third place with Fieber in close pursuit now. It looks like Rom suffered as well. Just looking back for Rom, he's all the way down in 9th, so he must have been affected by that as well. So a bit of a disaster for both Pagani and Rom there, shaking things up quite a bit. They'll have to try and just make up as many positions as they can now and then go into race 2. Of course, reverse grid for race 2 based on this race's finishing order. So it'll give those guys an extra chance to profit from that race at least. Still this battle now between unsafe release and Fieber. Is Fieber going to look to make the move here? Not quite, just shows himself in the wing mirrors of unsafe there, but doesn't attempt the move. Probably a wise move down into this section. Look here, we're looking backwards. See how close Fieber is, and he's gaining as they come up towards Ascari. So on the back of unsafe release car at the minute, but Ascari not the easiest place to make a move. In fact, Fieber is just pushing him along, as we can see there. So the two teammates working together just to try and stretch the gap, although with the push has given unsafe release a bit more momentum than he anticipated, and he's gone wide, and now Fieber's just giving him another push again just to get him going again. That will not help unsafe release in terms of penalties. It won't help him in terms of time either. So those two, it looks, just trying to stay ahead of Aaron in 5th and blue flag just behind him, but it's not really worked out as expected for Ascari there. So we are coming through to the end of lap 7 and the start of lap 8, and this will be the final lap of this first race. And it is T. Smith who leads by 3/4 of a second from his teammate TMC Jono. Jono looking to put the hammer down, but unfortunately for him down the start-finish straight, he's just out of slipstream range of 3/4 of a second. T. Smith looking to bleed his penalties off. If it stays like this, he's going to have to make sure he gets rid of all of it. Jono is closing the gap slightly, ever so slightly. I think we'll root for Jono in this one, because I can see the back of T. Smith's car and he's got JCB emblazoned all over it. I have my own personal reasons for not being particularly enamoured of that. I won't go into any more detail, and I know it's the actual livery of the inspiration for that particular livery, but nonetheless, come on, Jono. It's not working. He's dropped back a bit. See what's going on a bit further back. Unsafe release still in 3rd, stretching the gap a little to Fever now. Aaron is just a second behind, so he's catching up. He's got his own penalties to get rid of. It's going to be interesting to see with about half a lap to go. It's going to be very interesting to see how all these penalties work out come the end of the race. Behind Aaron, you've got blue flag in 6th with Leekol right on his tail. This will be a good finish, good result for Lee if he can get up into 6th. Rom has made his way up to 8th past Lennon. Houdini is 10th. Pagani is now up to 11 and challenging these two on the last lap. Junkie Sport 12th, Mikey 13th, British Daddy and Positive Ross at the back. But it is still T. Smith who leads, but Jono is gaining. They've both bled their penalties off. It's going to have to be a very, very good parabolica from Jono to enable him to challenge, so let's see how they go. Into the final corner. It's closing. It's 1/4 of a second now. If he can get a good run out, he might have a chance, but it looks like they're fairly even. Yeah, it's going to be T. Smith who comes through to take the first win of the evening just from TMC Jono. Unsafe release in 3rd, final podium place. Feber in 4th. Aaron will bring it home in 5th with blue flag just behind him and Lee Cole following him in for 7th. Ron makes his way back to 8th after his involvement in the Ghanaian unsafe release incident. Lennon is 9th, and then it's very, very close between Houdini's Wi-Fi, Lennon and Pagani, but Pagani in the end could only get 11th place. At Mikey finishes 13th with Bread 14th and Positive Ross in his return at the back. So, very interesting first race. A little bit of incident there, a little bit of excitement. So while we're here, and while, no doubt, Pagani goes off for a couple of minutes to calm himself down, let's take a quick look at the table as it stood before that race. So, T. Smith had the lead in the championship, and no doubt just extended that lead slightly. Jono, his teammate, just behind him in 2nd, so 108 points for T. Smith, 101 for Jono. Pagani in 3rd and Rom in 4th. So, pending any sort of investigations, penalties, anything like that, Rom and Pagani are the ones that have suffered there, so the likes of Unsafe, Feber, Aaron are all going to catch up a bit. In the first 2 races, it is only 1 point per position, so it's not an absolute disaster if you have one off race or one incident like we saw. Nonetheless, T. Smith will have stretched his lead considerably from those behind him, gaining another point on Jono in the process. Let's just have a look through to the constructors table. Is a slightly different story. So our top 2 in the driver standings, both from Team Premature Acceleration. So that was T. Smith and Jono. But it's the consistency of the 3 in Team Brexit. So Rom, Unsafe Release and Fever that puts them top of the constructors table at the minute by 35 points. Between them, they didn't have bad result there either, so teamwork is the key for those guys at the minute. 2 teams at the bottom suffering a bit, Losing Booze and Team Send It. I know they've been missing a few drivers over the first couple of weeks here and there, so that's not going to help things. So we will move on. Evening Tom, good you to join us in the chat in between races. Congratulations on the win. See if he can do it again, but from the back of the pack. So as always, for race 2, have a think. Reverse grid from the finishing positions we've just seen there. Let me know in the chat who you think is going to win race 2. A lot more up in the air, as always. We've had our 2-minute warning not that long ago, so we'll take a short break and then we'll be back for the start of race 2. Okay, here we go again, race 2. So our reverse grid sees Positive Ross and Ready Your Daddy on the front row, closely followed by Just Mikey and Junkie Sport. Garney in 5th is definitely the one to watch out for, with Rom not too far back either. So the issues those guys had in race 1 might prove to be their benefit here. We will wait and see. Pittman is going for Pagani for all the win, so let's see how we get on as we get away. Ross has got a pretty good start. Looks to be keeping ahead of Ready Daddy at the minute, although Ready's closing. See if he makes the move down into turn 1. Oh, it's a big move from Junkie Sport, and he's caused absolute carnage. Oh, they're about 5 wide. There's cars inside each other. Ross is sideways. Lee's off. Oh my word. It's chaos. It's absolute chaos. Jono is round. Oh, good lord. If anything deserves a replay, it's that. Right, let's see if we can have a look at the replay of that start. And he's caused absolute carnage. Oh, they're about 5 wide. There's cars inside each other. Ross is sideways. Lee's off. Oh my word. It's chaos. It's absolute chaos. Jono is round. Oh, good lord. If anything deserves a replay, it's that. Well, pick the bones out of that one. What it means, it's funny how things work out, isn't it? Oh, where's Just Mikey going? Massive slider. We've got someone off in the background. It is all kicking off. Rom is... Was it Rom in the background having a moment, or was it unsafe? I think it was unsafe release. All the way down to 11. As I was just saying, what all this means is, having been the complete loser in the incident on turn 1 in the first race, it's Pagani who's the big winner this time, because he has crept through and he is into first. Aaron, you can see, he's not happy in the chat. So Pagani in the lead into first, 1.3 seconds from Ready Your Daddy. Lennon is in 3rd, coming under pressure from Just Mikey, who's picked up maybe 2 seconds of penalties. Junkie Sport is there, and then I can only think there's been an incident. Unsafe release is 11th, Aaron is in 13th, Jono is 14th. And somehow, unfortunately, Positive Ross, he's got all the way down to the back again. Well, this has completely shaken things up in this race. As we're going to cut away from Ross now as he just takes a little scenic trip outside of Parabolica. Pagani has a 1.6 second lead. There's no doubt he will just be looking to keep this calm, set some reasonable lap times, and bring this home for the win if he can. Rd3 going to do all he can to catch him. He's in a very good position as well. 1.6 seconds clear off Mikey, who's managed to get back past Lennon. Junkie Sport is still there as well. I mean, the order of this race may well be changed following a steward's inquiry, because the first score was just absolutely I don't even know. Excuse me. I think the replay will still be there as long as we don't look at another one, so when it quietens down a bit we might be able to have another look and see if we can see exactly what happened. It's all a bit mixed up. T. Smith is in the middle of the pack in 9th in this sort of train here. A blue flag just ahead of him, looking down the inside of Houdini's Wi-Fi. There's no way you can make a move here. Gotta have a little look at the... Let's have a little look at blue flag, see if he can make the move on Houdini coming down into Ascari. No, he's gonna take it easy. I think he's got T. Smith right behind him as well, but he has got a very good run out of Ascari. Let's see if he can make the move down into Parabolica. He's got a Puna House Pin pedal on, staring him in the face as he looks to get closer and closer inside a 10th. He's going to pull to the inside, and he's not going to defend it. And it looks like blue flag has got the move done, as has T. Smith. Houdini going wide, and he's being passed by every man and his dog at the minute. Phoebe's having a look as well. In the end, just 2 places lost for Houdini's Wi-Fi there. Aaron and Unsafe Release locking horns again, so this is going to be interesting to watch. I'm definitely going to keep an eye on this one. Unsafe not going for the move. I wonder why. Stay calm, lads, stay calm. Jono 14th trying to recover, so he's still there as well, and Ross is way at the back in 50s, he's not getting on with this, either this track or this car at the minute. Pagani has stretched his lead to just over 2 seconds, so he's not made... Oh, he just dips a toe into the gravel there. He got a bit lucky there. Not making huge inroads on Rd3, but he is slowly inching away, so if there's no mistakes, touch wood, he should be able to maintain that lead and be comfortable in first. Rd3, with the 2 behind him battling, Rom has managed to make his way into 3rd, but Brad does have a 2.3 second lead, so it'll be interesting to see if he can hold on to that. We can see everybody going on. Somebody's wide. It's T. Smith. Wide onto the gravel and losing a place to Phoebe, losing a place to Houdini, and Lee Collar's on the move as well, so 3 places dropped for T. Smith there. So the winner of race 1 going backwards at the minute, down to 11th. As Unsafe just sticks her nose out behind Aaron, but again, no chance of making a move there, but Aaron has gone wide. He's onto the gravel. And Unsafe is passed, and Aaron is all the way to 14th. It looks, I don't know if there was contact or anything there or pushing it back, I'm not sure. He might have just outbraked himself. Aaron now drops to 14th place, so what's Unsafe Release doing? Looks like he's waiting for him. So I think, yeah, he did obviously brake too late there coming into Ascari, gave Aaron a push off the track. He has let him back through, which will count in his favour if we go to Stewart's inquiry, but oh, excuse me, not a good race for Unsafe Release. Back at the front, Pagani still just inching away, 2.6 seconds now, just over half the race to go. Can't believe only half the race has gone. So much incident in the second race. It's led to quite a few drivers benefiting, not least Pagani, and also Rd3 being able to maintain 2nd place at the minute would be an outstanding result for him. Rom 3rd, Lennon 4th, Junkie Sport 5th, Just Mikey still in 6th, so he's still hanging in there. 2nd and a bit ahead of blue flag. He's looking to try and catch up, but he's coming under pressure from the train of cars behind him. Phoebe in 8th, Houdini, Lee Cole, Len T. Smith and Jono. So R1-2 from race 1 really struggling. They're still 1-2, unfortunately for them. There's a 1 in front of both of those numbers. So they're not going to be big points in this race unless they can make some serious progress in the next few minutes. Let's keep an eye on the battle for third for a while. Rom, Lennon and Junkie Sport. Rom's pulled out a bit of a gap through Ascari. Junkie Sport's not going to push Lennon along. He's got him for the move. He wants fourth place. Still on the inside, but Lennon's hanging on all the way around the outside. Yeah, well held from Lennon. Now weaving across the track to try and break the toe, but Junkie Sports is still right on his tail. Lennon going very, very defensive. Junkie Sports decided to move to the outside. Is he going to be able to hang on? No, Lennon's done that well. Well defended from Lennon. That battling has allowed Rom to get away, so Rom has got a clear shot in third now, and 2 seconds behind British Daddy. He's got probably most of 4 laps to catch him up. So we'll see if he can manage that, or if the American can hold on for second place. Lennon's still under a lot of pressure. Junkie Sport will not leave him alone. Plenty of time to make the overtake though, so there's no need to be too impatient. I think we've seen seen what happens if you get too impatient in this race already. Our biggest train here, all the way from 6th back to 12th now, as John has joined the party, looking to get past Houdini. I would say Felice is gaining on Aaron again. I don't know if we should even watch. His Wi-Fi is having a look at T. Smith, who has managed to get past him at some point, but he's going to have another go. Looking to the outside of Parabolica. Unfortunately for him, he's got Jono coming flying up behind, and he's just going to push his teammate back ahead. That's good teamwork there from the premature acceleration boys. And in all likelihood... Oh, hello. Well, he's managed to keep ahead, and he's still side by side as Houdini's Wi-Fi with Jono. If he can hold both of them off down the start-finish straight, it's going to be something incredible. Let's keep an eye to see if he can manage it. Jono is coming. Houdini's moved to the inside. T. Smith looking to follow him through. They might be making the move. Jono and Houdini on T. Smith here. Oh, and they're side by side coming into the first chicane. T. Smith's ghosting. He's still there. He's just about managed to get the move done. T. Smith retakes 10th place for now. How long will it last? Houdini's Wi-Fi still coming back at him. T. Smith goes defensive. Houdini goes to the outside this time. He's not going to be able to make a move down here, but he might get a better run out. T. Smith holding on and now stretching the lead as a slightly dodgy exit from the corner. Houdini, he's now got Jono to worry about. T. Smith looks to gain on Mikey, who is falling back down the pack. Unfortunately for him, last time we checked on Mikey, he was in 6th. He's now in 9th. So that's promoted the likes of Feber and Junkie Sport, and Feber is now challenging as well. He's ahead of Lee Cole. Junkie Sport is all the way back down to 8th, so what has happened there? We talked about Junkie Sport needing to be patient, and he's very much not been, and he's off the track. Junkie Sport is off and in the gravel, and he's going to drop all the way to the back. We'll have to come back and have another look at that as we see Jono and T. Smith. No, not T. Smith, sorry. T. Smith's got ahead. It's Jono and Houdini's Wi-Fi, and now just Mikey challenging for 9th place as T. Smith gets away. And Houdini's Wi-Fi holds 10th from Mikey, but not from Jono. So, a fantastic battle over the course of about 1.5 laps put up by Houdini's Wi-Fi, but now he is dropping back. He has overtaken Mikey though, which means he does retain 10th place. Jono goes defensive. Swings back to the outside. And this time they're all just going to follow each other through the first chicane. Hope to get a good run out. So T. Smith up into 8th, bearing down on Lee Cole ahead of him. We've got 2 laps to go. Feber is in 6th. Blue Flag's largely managed to stay out of trouble, having a decent race. He is 5th, Lennon 4th, Ron 3rd, and now just 9/10 of a second behind Bread Is Your Daddy, so the gap is closing. Have to see if Rom's got enough time, not only to catch Bread, but to pass him as well. Oh, Bread's on home, Rom's gone. Rom has gone. Dipped a wheel into the gravel on the outside, and he is all over the track trying to get back on. He needs to get out of the way of everybody else coming through. Drops back in, ooh, just in front of T. Smith. Slowing him up a bit, perhaps. So, disaster for Rom. And it's not been such a happy race for Team Brexit this time around. Fever is the only one who's had a relatively clean race. He is currently 5th. But Rom down in 7th. And Unsafe Release all the way down in 14th place. Only spared being at the back of the pack thanks to Junkie Sports' misfortune. Garney's lead, meanwhile, coming into the final lap as he comes around Parabolica for the penultimate time is nearly 3.5 seconds, so he is looking pretty comfortable as it stands. And obviously Rom's incident has made it a pretty easy ride for Bread as well for second. He just hopefully take it easy around the final lap and bring that home, and it promotes Lennon to a potential podium. So some really good results for some of the guys here. The points they get here will definitely move them up the table a bit compared to some of the others who've had incidents, as Feber makes the move on Blue Flag, and Feber is... Well, Blue Flag went very defensive. Feber managed to get down the inside anyway. Is he going to be able to outbreak Blue Flag? Lee Cole's looking interested as well. Blue Flag holds the line. Excellent defensive work from Blue Flag. Still got Feber side by side. All this is going to let Lee Cole buy into the battle for 4th. This has been some race. T. Smith's managed to make his way up to 7th. He's managed to hold off Rom. And in fact get past him, but we're going to keep an eye on Feber and Blue Flag. And Blue Flag's going down the inside to try and get the place back off Feber. All slides it into the chicane. Bumps it over the gravel. Feber's wide. Feber's been pushed wide. He's on the gravel. T. Smith goes past. Rom goes past. Jono goes past. Feber's down to 9th. Oh, I do... Not entirely sure about that one. Blue Flag might potentially have outbraked himself, but for the minute he gets 4th. This has been some race. Front 3 cruising away in their own little world. It's a lot more chaotic further back. Blue Flag holding on, Lee Cole challenging. Lee Cole looked to get a better run through Ascari, but there's nowhere to go and he's had to hold up. We'll watch Lee Cole as he comes down the straight towards Parabolica. Can he get the place from Blue Flag? He swings to the outside. He's going to have to go all the way around the outside here as Blue Flag stays defensive. Not the easiest move, but you can go all the way around the outside. Lee breaks late. You've still got Blue Flag on the inside. There's a little bit of contact, a little bit of door banging, and it looks like that's going to give Blue Flag the run out as Pagani brings it home for the win. Bread Is Your Daddy with a very well-deserved second. Lennon takes the final podium place, and an absolute cluster of cars behind that. It finishes Blue Flag, Lee Cole, T. Smith, Rom, Jono. I mean, there's literally a second between 4th and 8th, pretty much. Houdini's Wi-Fi in now. Fever comes home in 10th. Aaron eventually makes his way back into 11th. Just Mikey in 12th. Ross 13th. Unsafe 14th. And Junkie Sport in 15th place. Right. Let's have a look. Back for a second. Fever and Junkie Sport and Fever. Right. So just having a play around here, let's see. We had... This is the incident with Junkie Sport. So Junkie Sport coming down the straight. Just Mikey alongside him, yeah, you can see he's just dipped a wheel on the grass there. nearly collected just Mikey on the way through. I think Mikey ghosted, which was fortunate for him. We'll have one more look just to see. So you just see Junkie Sport in 8th place here. He goes right to the outside. He knows there's people on the inside. He's trying to get as wide as possible. He's got people challenging him. There's the wheel on the grass as he tries to brake. Goes straight through Mike. It was very fortunate for Mike he didn't get collected there, and just straight off into the gravel. So unfortunate for Junkie Sport, but that ended up with him finishing in last place. And let's have a quick look here while we load the Group 3 race. And here are the results. So, Pagani in the end with the win, Rd3 second, Lennon third. The rest was just an absolute casserole of nonsense. I barely had time to see where all the positions were changing, where people were going off the track. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and save the replay right now just so I can watch some of that back later and see what happened where. But for now, pending any stewards' inquiries, I'm not going to say that there's necessarily going to be any, but I'm going to say it's pretty likely. I mean, all in all, if there's ever an opportunity to break this out, it's now.
A little bit spicy.
A bit unfortunate for Ainsley there, hidden behind the constructors' table, but nonetheless, what he says is always the truth, and it was particularly spicy, that race. Oh, I'll tell you what, my throat is on fire. That is a bottle of Jägermeister being opened. It's got to that time. Right, please tell me your predictions for race 3. I'd love to hear it. We are in reverse championship order for race 3. So, of course, what you can see there is going to be the reverse of the grid. So we will see Ross at the front, followed by Houdini's Wi-Fi, Just Mikey H, Bredish Daddy and Junkie Sport. So good opportunity for a couple of the guys here. I mean, Bred finishing in second in that last race, really going to help him out. That's 13 points, which is, I mean, you can see there the first 2 rounds of the season he only picked up 33 points in total, so 13 points on top of that just for that race. Plus, being in that position means he's going to be starting 4th on the grid for the Group 3 race. So, if he can stay out of trouble, I'd say he's got a really good chance here. I'm going to do the touch wood again, because I don't want to curse him. We know how the FTRL curses like to work, the commentators' curses. But, yeah, we'll see how he does. Chris asking, oh, firstly, great drive by Bluefang. Yeah, absolutely. He one of the only ones who managed to stay out of trouble, so he's a very experienced driver, is Bluefang, like he knows what he's doing. Top got remember the Jaeger bomb, not quite. Red Bull is the urine of the devil. You don't never touch it. Whereas Jägermeister is pure mountain goodness. Anyway, steward's inquiry. How does the steward's inquiry work? So basically, it's reliant on the drivers themselves. And so just switch. Sorry, bear with me. Just switch back to the race view before the start. It's dependent on the drivers themselves, and it's up to the drivers to report any incidents that they think may have been an issue in their race. So if they think they've been forced off the track, or there's been any contact that was, or any incidents of unfair racing, it can be reported to the stewards, who are all, all guys part of FTRL, all guys who take part in the racing. And those incidents get reviewed, and the stewards watch the race back anyway, watch the replay back, watch the stream back, etc., to see if there's been any other sort of incidents. Off the back of all the information, obviously you can save the replay, look at it from different angles, etc. Off the back of all that information, there'll be a decision as to whether penalties will be applied, and they can range from anything from a race time penalty, so you get like 5 seconds added onto your finishing time, which may well drop you down places. You get a 5 or a 10-second penalty for sort of relatively minor incidents. If it's particularly minor, you might just get a warning. But they can also be more severe if there's instances of, say, really bad sportsmanship or really bad driving. Very occasionally we see people get disqualified from qualifying for the next race or disqualified from the next race altogether. But that does happen very rarely. I mean, generally the standards of driving are particularly good here, I would say. As evidence here. Can't do donuts like that without a significant level of skill. Right, I'm going to go back, and the internet seems to stabilise itself. Let's have a look and see if these lovely fancy name badges start working. Oh, not really. It's a real shame. I get the feeling my setup, my laptop is just not quite strong enough to handle multiple video instances on one stream. We'll keep trying to fix it. I mean, the fact that I've got them all visible, that probably doesn't help matters. So it might be they do work after all, it might be I'm just being an absolute moron. Let's see. There you go, see? Perfect. Eventually, I will get the hang of this. We are starting soon for anybody who's interested. I'm fed up of hearing me whittle on about my woeful IT skills. We'll be starting in a minute. So this will be obviously the longer race, 40-minute race, tyre change mandatory. You've got to use at least one instance of both the medium and the soft tyres. Fuel depletion on as well. You see Ron there doing a very good job of wearing out the back of those medium tyres. Fortunately, he doesn't have to start the race on those. He'll get a fresh set. That'd be funny if you could change that, wouldn't it? So who do we think is going to win race 3? We'll be looking for Aaron to try. He's going to be, I think, probably one of my choices. Hopefully his head hasn't gone too much from the last race. He had a lot of trouble there. He even stopped to write a message mid-race, but hopefully he can recover himself and sort of from somewhere mid-pack have a race. But we will see. We're just about to begin the final. So let's see how we get on. Okay, our grid is positive Ross Houdini's Wi-Fi on the front row, Just Mikey, British Daddy, Jug Sport, Lee Cole, Lennon, Blue Flag Aaron, Fever, Unsafe Release. I can never quite get through them all. Pagani, Jono, and at the back T Smith. So reverse championship order for this race. Positive Ross, having missed the first 2 weeks, will lead us off. So 40 minutes, Group 3 cars at Monza. We're away. It's a quick start. Positive Ross gets a decent start. We see a bit of wheel spin at the back there. I'm not sure who that was. Ross, it looks like he may lead us down, obviously, with the inside line. In second is Houdini's Wi-Fi. You'll see if he can outbrake Ross down to the first corner, and it looks like he's made it. Ross keeping things neat and tidy there. He's had to drop the place, but at least he's not had an incident. Junkie Sport having a bit of a wobble. Looks like everybody apart from Fever has made it through successfully. Something happened to Fever there, drops him down to the back. It's not a complete disaster. He's only a couple of seconds off the back of the pack, and 40 minutes for him to catch up. So tuned into who leads us, but he's had a big slide down into this chicane. That'll allow Ross to gain on him, and there's some wiggling going on a bit further back. Let's see who else is having any trouble. A couple of these corners causing real problems for some of the guys with a lot of cars in close attendance at the start. So Aaron's been my pick to make good progress in this race, and he's started reasonably. I think he's stayed more or less the position he started. Blue flag just ahead of him, Junk Sport just behind, on safe release in 10th. We see a challenge for 4th place, Spreadsheet Daddy. He's already dropped 4th, but he maybe even started in 4th. If so, you're doing alright, keep it up. But Lee Cole is putting him under increasing pressure. So let's watch Lee Cole as he looks to make the challenge down into Parabolica. Brett goes defensive, Lee Cole is still there. Oh, and Brett had to slow down massively, and Lee Cole had to take slight avoiding action there. It's pushed him wide. I think Blue Flag's a bit too far back to make a challenge, but he will be gaining on him rapidly down the start-finish straight. So that's not sure why Brett had to slow down so much there, but it's cost Lee more than anything. But he should be okay, and they're spread out a bit more at the front now as we head down into turn 1 for lap 2. Big challenge further back on safe releases in 8th. There's a massive cluster of cars, and he's locking horns with Aaron again. Aaron looking to stay ahead in 7th, but it looks like Unsafe's got the move done, has he? He is up in 7th, but he's still got Aaron side by side. Now Unsafe Release moves ahead, so the race and fate just brings these two together seemingly time and again today. And now Unsafe are looking to make the move, and it's an aggressive move down the inside of Blue Flag. The two going side by side. It's not advised down into that corner. Blue Flag has kept the elbows out there and held his position well. Great defensive driving. He maintains the position. It's giving a bit of clear air to Mikey ahead of them. He's in 5th. Once again, we have a few cars spaced out a bit at the front, and then a big cluster behind them. Looking a bit further forward, Lee Cole has managed to make his way past Mikey and is still challenging Reddish Daddy. Two at the front, making their move. So Houdini's Wi-Fi about a second ahead. What's interesting here is Positive Ross. Penalties notwithstanding, he's in a very, very good position. So he's in 2nd place, but he's on the medium tyres, so starting on the mediums could go very, very well for him. Fastest lap of the race for Houdini's Wi-Fi, 1:47.5. It's a 1:47.7 for Ross behind him, so Ross not dropping too much time despite the fact he's on the harder tyre compound. Reddy's still holding off challengers behind him, Lee Cole in particular. Speaking of holding people off, once the release has dropped to 9th, that Blue Flag is now having to deal with Aaron. Blue Flag again taking a defensive line down into the chicane. I would say there's not really very much room past, but we saw Unsafe Release try it on the lap before. Aaron running a little bit wide now, coming under pressure from Rom. Rom's really going to be looking for a good result here. He's had an unfortunate first couple of races. He is pushing hard, you can see. Right behind Aaron, just 3/10 behind, and looking to get a good run down into Ascari. Just 2/10 back and gaining. Here he comes. He's going to look to hit the brakes early, perhaps get a better run out of Ascari. Aaron did very well there to get the car stopped, but now you can see the benefit of that from Rom's point of view. Getting a decent run out, but he's run wide. He's run very, very wide, and now we're going to watch Jono coming up right behind him. Looks like they should be okay through whole position, but it didn't quite work out for Ron there. He seems to be struggling tonight. Jag, perhaps not his car. Jono will now look to make the move and switch back down the inside, coming into Parabolica. Rom is wide, and we've got people wide behind. We've got Unsafe Release wide as well, and that lets his teammate Fever through into 10th place, so Unsafe Release drops to 11th. What has happened to T. Smith and Pagani? Didn't see this at all. I probably should have noticed on the map, to be fair. There's a massive chunk of cars about 12 seconds behind the leading pack. It must have been on the first lap because, as you can see, T. Smith's first lap at 2 minutes 12 compared to a 1:55 for the guys ahead of him. So a massive incident somewhere for the championship leader. Unless he's... No, I was going to say unless he's already stopped, but he can't have done. He might have done. It's an interesting strategy if so, and if so, Pagani might have done it as well. I'm gonna... Let me know what you think in the chat. I'm gonna withhold judgment for now. But it looks very much to me like those are... If we look at T. Smith, looking at the tyres here, looking at T. Smith, looking at Pagani, compare that to the guys ahead of him. Flicking through here, I can't see any time wear on those guys at all, particularly Pagani. So I just wonder if maybe they started on the medium tyres. Doesn't make sense. I'm going to stop speculating. We'll see how they get on. We'll hear from them afterwards what the strategy was. I'm not entirely certain of that. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Still, further upfield, the battles are continuing. Fever currently holding 7th, but again going wide. We've seen a few people do that already now in this race, going wide into Parabolica. And Blue Flag pits as well, so there's definitely something with the medium tyres here. Maybe they just give such a detrimental effect to lap time that people are choosing to pit early. It's only the end of lap 4, and we're seeing multiple people pit off the medium tyres. I'm a lot more convinced now that that's what the likes of T. Smith and Pagani have done, because you see they're already getting past the guys that are now just coming out of the pits. So people have been working on race strategy here. It's a team Brexit party, 7th, 8th and 9th. Just keeping a close eye, just make sure we don't spot any sign of Nigel Farage in the background. I think we're okay. He may be banned from Italy at this point, I'm not sure. Anyway. Oh, it's a yellow flag. Someone's gone. It's Lee. Oh, Lee got to spin it. It's such an easy... We saw Rom do it in the last race. It's such an easy mistake to make. You can go on the AstroTurf. You see in the background there. Out of that corner. It's a fast exit. You've got to get as fast an exit as possible in 3rd gear. You can go on the AstroTurf. If you go any further and get to the ground, it's so easy to spin it like that, and that is the mistake that Lee Collins is making. Now on dirty tyres, he is sliding it round Ascari, and he loses out to Pagani. Oh, and his lead. Oh, it's gone. It's all gone wrong for Lee Cole. Oh, does it merit? It might be, mate. I think it might. Sorry, Lee. I had to bring it back. You know I had to. Lee is the unfortunate driver this week, and that puts him all the way down to 13th place. Aaron, having stopped off the medium tyres, is 14th, and Lennon down in 15th. Really changing up this week. People who were leading, I mean, Lennon he's into the pits now as well, from 15th position off the medium tyres, so Lennon finished 3rd in the previous race. He's now way down at the back. Houdini's Wi-Fi still leads 2.2 seconds clear of British Daddy. And it's just Mikey up to 3rd. So Mikey having a good race so far, although he has got a cluster of cars in his rearview mirror, and that won't do anything for his concentration. Just about holding on there. We see somebody else wide. It's unsafe release. Swinging it across the track. Unlikely earlier on, he just about manages to catch it. Now we've got 3 identical red liveried Team Brexit cars coming down towards Ascari. Feber tucks back in behind his teammate Rom. These 3 no doubt trying to work together, but it's proving tricky. In the meantime, Jono is up to 4th, so keep an eye on TMC Jono for the time being. You know he's got a number of tools in his locker when it comes to, especially when it comes to the longer endurance races. I'll drive this car. Oh dear. Well, you've got to do it for another half an hour, so you better get on with it. Anyway, as I was saying, Jono, a number of tools in his locker, and the ability to overtake down into Zone 1 looks to be one of them. Already makes his way past Mikey. Mikey, I think, just realising that's probably not going to be his battle for this race. Lets Jono go, and hopefully he'll be able to hang on in the slipstream for a bit. Oh, there. Just about gets it going again. Okay, Jono obviously got the pace, we've seen that before. He's got the ability to manage the tyres as well, so see he's 5 seconds behind British Daddy at the minute. But on the medium tyre compound, as we see another wiggle from Mikey coming out of the chicane. Still holding one in there though. Leads off a bit of penalty as it comes round the right-hander. It's a bit dodgy for Mikey. He's okay, he's held on, but that's going to let Ron close rapidly. Could well be a team Brexit mobbing here for Mikey. Ron is past him, Fever is closing, Unsafe is not too far behind. Mikey picking up a penalty for his little excursion across the Ascari chicane there. You see someone Unsafe running wide again. A lot of that happening in a minute, and perhaps it's the car. As we see Jono pit off the medium tyres. So that will let Pagani back into things. It'll be interesting to see where Jono comes back out in relation to Pagani. Both having pitted, Pagani obviously a lot earlier. He'll have been looking to get the undercut, and it looks like he has. Here comes Jono, he is out in 11th. Good. On fresher tyres now, granted, but he's a good 7 seconds behind Pagani, so it looks to be working well for Pagani at the minute. As we see Twitch coming out of the first chicane. Every time I cut someone at the minute, they seem to be weaving across the track. Nice solid race from who did his Wi-Fi at the minute. You see, he's settled down fairly well. Pretty consistent lap times in around 1:48s. British Daddy behind him doing fairly similar work as well, so going well for those two at the minute. But we will no doubt see the pack behind the guys who've already pitted, who've already done their medium tyres. We will no doubt see them catch up as the race goes on. Well, I can see that we've lost Lennon for 2 reasons. Firstly, he's not in the race order anymore. We're down to 14 drivers. And second of all, I can see him in the race chat. Hello, Lennon, in the YouTube chat. So that car is wank. I'll tell you what's more wank: rage quitting a race halfway through. I don't know. Where are the standards? Anyway, Rom is 3rd, and he's coming under pressure from Fever. T. Smith is hanging about in the background as well. Mikey has gone all the way down to 7th now. He is right on the back of his teammate though. Not going to make a move down into turn 1. Neither is Fever, but T. Smith might look to make the move on unsafe release. He goes down the inside, brakes late. Lovely move from T. Smith. Absolutely fantastic. Overtake there.
Nice.
Get one of them for that. Lovely move. So 6, Mikey 7th, Pagani after his pit is now into 8th with a decent gap back to Jono. So just starting to settle out a little bit. We've still got 25 minutes of racing to go here. It's been a very eventful night. No doubt there's plenty more to come. front now, 4 seconds. And personal fastest lap for Houdini's Wi-Fi on that last lap. Let's see if he can improve on that this time round. Just coming through to Parabolica. .3 to beat. You can see the difference from that to the fastest lap though. T Smith at 1:46.2. Now Houdini's at 1:48.1. And pretty similar for British Daddy behind him. So those two maintaining a consistent pace, not getting the benefit of slipstream down the straights that these guys will be getting, but obviously as close as they are, they will be gaining on the guys ahead of them. But no doubt looking to go potentially 2 or 3 wide into turn 1 isn't going to help your lap time, but T Smith has made the move on Rom, who looks for the switch back across turn 1. That's wildly ambitious, but it looks to have worked. Excellent work from Rom there. He maintains third place ahead of T Smith. Bieber's still in there looking interested as well. He's Unsafe, who has dropped all the way back to 12th because he's pitted by the look of it. Yep. Unsafe Release has pitted onto the soft tyres before his teammates. Just behind Positive Ross at the minute. Aaron back in 13th. Not really working out for Aaron at the moment. So I may have cursed him at the start of the race. Apologies, Aaron. And I don't really know what's happened to... Oh yeah, I remember. Back to the front. 4-second gap still, lap 10. Soft tyres maintaining their integrity pretty well for the two guys at the front, which might suggest why the guys behind got off the mediums early. They are obviously banking on the soft tyres lasting. With no fuel depletion in this race. It's all about tyre wear, and it looks like the tyres are going to last, so you can see why people are pitting off the mediums early. They are going to... There's probably about another 11, 12 laps to go. Probably 12 laps after this, so these guys are banking on the softs lasting the rest of the race, and you can see as Rom and Fieber come into the pits, you can see the likes of T. Smith and Garner not too far off the lead now. T. Smith only 10 seconds, so when these two ahead of him have to pit, he will assume the race lead. If he's still ahead of Pagani. Bit of advice in the in-race chat from Lennon there while he pitted. Say to Brad, calm down, look after your tyres. I mean, he's doing okay on them so far, but they're not going to last the whole race because he has to pit at some point. So it just depends. I mean, the last lap for Reddish and Daddy at 1:49.2, so that's dropped off significantly. So yeah, Lennon perhaps right there. Just take it a little bit easier. The gap to the front is stretching out now. 5.5 seconds. T. Smith is gaining, meanwhile Pagani not too far behind him. So I suggest it's these two in the hunt for the race win at the minute. Mikey is 6 seconds back. He's got Jono right on him, so we'll stick with these two for the minute. Jono just about to come into slipstream range. Mikey yet to pit as well. Again, if there's his teammate looming in his rearview mirrors, he probably wanted to hold him up too much. Oh, we've got the cotton nuts coming back on. That's no good. Oh my god, I'm bad at this. So Jono in all that, when I was messing about with my controls, Mikey had a bit of an incident with Scary. Jono's gone flying past. And blue flag now challenging as well. Mikey looking down the inside to hold on. Blue flag getting the shot all the way around the outside though as our race leader pits. So Houdini's Wi-Fi into the pits and back up in 4th place. It's not worked out too badly for him. He's still a good 3 seconds ahead of Jono. But he is out, of course, on the medium tyres compared to Jono, who is on the softs. So let's see if he can do anything to stay ahead. So out into 4th, that will be most likely in that 3rd because British Dad is going to have to pit at some point. He's now setting 1:49 pretty much, which is not going to go well for him the rest of the race if he carries on like that. So you would expect it to pit reasonably soon. all the while, T. Smith is gaining, now just 3 seconds back. Pagani not too far behind as well. So looking a bit further back, Jono still in 5th, gaining. Blue flag in 6th. Mikey trying his best to hang on, but he's just dropped outside of slipstream range, so he's probably going to have to give that up to blue flag now and just keep a close eye on Junkie Sport behind him. A bit further back, Positive Ross in 9th. And then we've got Team Brexit still going around together. Rom in 10th, Unsafe 11th, and Fever in 12th. Lennon is still sending messages despite no longer being in the race. Telling British Daddy to go into the pits. Let's see if he heeds that attention. He does. So British Daddy in off the soft tyres. Let's see where he comes out. Will he come out? He'll certainly come out behind Houdini. Will he come out ahead of the other guys? So there goes blue flag. Just Mikey is next up. British Daddy out on the medium tyres. And out into 6th place in the end. Blue flag just seems ahead. So not too bad. Still 4 seconds ahead of Junkie Sport, who's now starting to come under pressure from Ross. From last place, but may it work out in terms of points for the team. In terms of giving his teammates some points somewhere to pit. We will never know. Oh, where is Ross going? I'm just gonna have a quick look back at that one. It seemed to gain a hell of a amount of time. I don't know whether it was just an incident or Junkie Sport ahead of him. Let's have a look back. So here they come down into the chicane. Yeah, Junkie Sport just ran wide. So yeah, Junkie Sport losing out there, just braking a fraction too late. And that promotes Positive Ross to 7th. Junkie Sport now looks to be suffering on his tyres as well, because he's now the latest victim of the Team Brexit flash mob. Rom is passed, Unsafe Release is passed, Fever's looking interested as well. Junkie Sport getting absolutely barneyed there. And he's all the way down to 11th place. His tyres look to be costing him, to be honest. Junkie Sport, I think, still to pit. Fairly worn tyres. I can't see on his lap time if he's pitted anymore unless he did it up front, which he might have done. Nonetheless, he is down to 11th place. Still challenging Fever though. Fever manages to hold on. Good move from Fever. So positions are changing. Reginaldi is 6th now, just 2 seconds behind Houdini, so he's gained a bit during the pit stop. I think Houdini's suffering a little bit because of his battle with Blue Flag, who's now got past him, but he's still challenging him. So those two still going at it. Let's keep an eye on this for a while. Go back to Houdini and have a look at the bonnet cam and see if he can catch Blue Flag. He's got a poor exit from the corner there. See how he goes through Ascari. Key here for Ascari not to turn in too sharply. Don't sacrifice your speed out of the corner. You can go in slower here if you can get on the throttle early. Not particularly early for Houdini there. You see him losing time all the way out the corner. That was 4/10 going into the corner. It's now 7/10 and gaining, and he is losing time to British Daddy behind him. So 5th and 6th may well be battling fairly soon. Out of the front though, T. Smith is 2.3 seconds clear of Pagani, setting a 1:47.1 on that last lap compared to Pagani's 1:47.5. Pagani with nearly 2 seconds of penalties as well, so he's got a bit of work to do if he wants to catch up to T. Smith. Loving the features. Thank you, mate. They're an absolute nightmare to keep track of. I need more practice, but we are getting there. Ooh, did T-Smith cut the corner there? That was close. Let's see if he picks up a penalty. Yeah, there we go. Half second penalty for T-Smith. Still 1.8 seconds for Pagani, mind, so shouldn't bother T-Smith too much at the minute. Jono a further 5 seconds back with a bit much fresher tyres. You can see the difference in lap times. 146.6 there for Jono versus a 147.5 for Pagani. So with 13 and a half minutes to go, which is 7 laps after this one, I think, could well see Jono getting himself back into the mix before the end of the race. In the meantime, Houdini's Wi-Fi is doing a sterling job, despite being on the harder tyre compound of holding on to blue flag. They come down into Ascari. Let's see if he can make a better run of it this time. 610's going in. Pretty similar coming out, although Houdini will get the slipstream down into Parabolica and then down the home straight, should draw him back in. See in the background there the American flag. That means that Rd3 is keeping a watching brief on these two. A top 5. Oh, he's a bit wide. He's alright. Maybe pick up a bit of a penalty for that. Just about to say a top 5 or even 4th place finish for Rd3 to go with his second in the previous race would be a fantastic result for him. Would catapult him on the table, no doubt. To see Houdini not close enough to make the move this time into turn 1. A bit further back, still shenanigans. Ross has joined the Team Brexit battle. He's the latest one to enter the negotiations. Is everyone enjoying the Brexit plans? I hope so. I'm sure I can think of plenty more before the end of the race, if you do like them. Here comes Rd3. 7/10 back on Houdini's Wi-Fi now. Does that mean he's gaining, or does that mean Houdini's dropping off? It looks like he's dropping off. He's had a poor first half of this lap. Now nearly 2 seconds behind blue flag, and has another wobble coming out of the second right-hander there. I forget the name of those two corners, to be honest. I'm going to have to look it up. I don't want to get it wrong. We don't want to have another condom straight or whatever it was. Rd3 is really gaining. It's 3/4 tenths. He's a poor Ascari though. Dropped back again, so these two going back and forth here for 5th place. Further behind, Team Brexit is gaining. Grom, Unsafe, Fever. Fever is now going to get past Positive Ross, but Ross is possibly going to look to challenge down into Parabolica. Oh, we've lost Aaron. Oh, well, that's not good. So 2 drivers down in this race. Monza proving a challenge. No move for Positive Ross there. Rd3 was gaining on the Wi-Fi, but now he's got to look in his rear view mirrors, because he has got 2 red livery cars right behind him. See where they can get to here. God, not only have we got Team Brexit, we've got Tories racing as well. Couldn't get any worse, could it? Well, I'm looking to make the move here. Gets down the inside of the corner. Rd3 is sideways across the curves, and he's lost 2 places. All gone a bit wrong there. He couldn't quite handle the increasing pressure from the cars behind him. Tried to turn in a bit too soon and got all out of shape, and he's down to 8th place. So that most likely ends his challenge for 4th, certainly. And the next challenger will be Fever in 9th, looking to get back into 8th place. Oh, where's he going? It's all gone a bit pear-shaped for Bread. He's down to 9th, cutting the corner on Ascari, picking up further penalties. Not as many penalties as Fever, mind, but for now Fever has track position into 8th, looking to rejoin the Team Brexit train. Incidentally, if you do want to join the Team Rd3, make sure your visas are up to date. I'm going to stop that now. Back to the lead. T. Smith has extended the gap to 3.3 seconds. There are 9 minutes to go. T. Smith looking fairly comfortable at the minute. Pagani behind him is trying his best to hang on, but again, the relative lap times are not in his favour. T. Smith gaining probably about 3 or 4 tenths a lap at the minute. Pagani is probably more interested in looking in his rearview mirrors for TMC Jono. The gap down there to 2 seconds. I can see changes for position going on further back. Oh, and it's all chaos around the chicanes again as Houdini's Wi-Fi is getting involved. Team Rd3 on the charge. Rom's up to 5th. Unsafe release to 6th. Houdini's now in 7th. Seems to be a consistent theme at the minute with these guys, so the two of them just mob the guy in front, and then Fever mops up further back and gets the overtake done. Let's see if he can do it here. We'll follow Fever. Not backwards, we won't. Follow Fever down into Ascari. He moves to the inside. Is he going to make the move? No, he's going to keep it patient. Well known for keeping his cool and keeping patient is Fever. Looks to get a better run out of Ascari, and that is how you do it. Look at how quickly he's gaining on Houdini's Wi-Fi here. He's going to move to the inside for Parabolica. Not quite able to gain though. Oh, Houdini's outbraked himself slightly. Is Fever going to be able to make the move down the inside? Not quite. Just dropped off a little bit there, maybe possibly excessively cautious there. Nonetheless, we'll expect to see Fever make a move. At some point, he looks to have the pace over Houdini at this time. We'll see how he does. Is it this time? Yes, it is. Gets the move done down the inside of, don't worry, I've got the corner numbers up now. Oh, I'm not saying that. No chance. I'll have to learn them for next time. The enthusiasm is there. The motorsport knowledge and the technical skills are lacking, unfortunately. We'll work on it. Nonetheless, Fever rejoins his teammates. It's going to be interesting to see the last lap between these guys, see what they see if they shift from a team game to individual glory. Their next target is Blue Flag, who's 1.5 seconds up the road, so plenty of time to catch up if they've got the pace. Rom has an unsafe, and Fever certainly got the tyres. These guys working together brilliantly, and Jono has caught Pagani as we go into lap 20. 3 laps to go. And Jono looks to make move down the inside of Pagani. Coming into turn 1, Pagani lets him go. Just looking to bleed off the penalty there. That's probably sensible from Pagani as long as he can stay in the slipstream. Wants to make sure he gets the exit right. Well, maybe he's settling for 3rd as Pagani, but if he was trying to hang on in the slipstream with Jono, he hasn't managed it. Jono is away. So, T. Smith, team premature acceleration, is 1st. Jono, team premature acceleration, 2nd. And you can see in the background there, Pagani now takes up the final step on the podium. I think, given the rate that Jono was catching him, Pagani probably knows it's probably not worth the risk of battling, to be honest. Take 3rd place, be done with it. He's 11 seconds off the Blue Flag. He can take it reasonably easy from this point out, make sure he looks after the tyres. Blue Flag has a lot more to worry about in a minute. Gap already down to 0.8 of a second back to Rom, and closely following behind him, the German duo, Unsafe Release and Fever. His Wi-Fi in 8th, and British Adani is now right behind him, so this inter-team rivalry has been renewed. Are they on the same team? It's these colour schemes. But let's check. I don't think they are. Add that to the list of things to learn. Who's in what team? No, they're not. There you go. Oh, I'm sorry. Anyway, that makes it all the more spicy. British Daddy, 3/10 back from Houdini's Wi-Fi, now 3/10 back from Blue Flag, who's been, successfully mobbed by Team Brexit. Has now fallen back into the clutches of Houdini and Bread. So we've got a couple of little battles shaping up nicely here. Like I said, it'd be very interesting to see what these three guys do as we come around for the last few laps. It's all looking pretty settled for the front three. Yeah, T. Smith, a couple of seconds ahead of Jono. Let's just say that. Let's just keep an eye on Jono. He is gaining 147.0 on his last lap to T. Smith 148.5. So the difference in tyres is significant. The difference in lap times is significant. So this may not yet be over for the race win. That gap is coming down. We will have, certainly for the front runners, 2 laps to go. So we will come back to these guys in a lap or so and see how much that gap has closed. Garni very much settling for 3rd place right now. He's had a decent race. Unfortunately, he just did pit very early, just can't keep up with the front 2 at the tail end of the race. Rom's in 4th, but he's got unsafe release right on his rear bumper. Let's see what happens. He's so close behind him. Is he just going to keep pushing him along? He's not going to make the move. So those 3 not going at it just yet. Fever will be wanting to just get rid of that final bit of penalty before the last lap. And now we get into the realms of the guys that 20 seconds back. This is probably their final lap. I'd be quite interested actually to see if 4th, 5th and 6th Team Brexit if their final lap as well, and if anybody's going to make a move, but we will see. Rom is purple for the first sector on the final lap of the race. Stretching out a bit of a gap there. Further back we have Blue Flag, Houdini's Wi-Fi, British Daddy still sticking on his tail, but with a half-second penalty. It will be these guys' final laps. He's going to have to bleed that off if he wants to make the overtake on Houdini's Wi-Fi. As we've established, is not his teammate. I don't think. Junkie Sport, oh god. Junkie Sport in 10th, League Hall in 11th. Fairly lonely race for all these guys. Ross is in 12th, and just like 13th, benefiting from at least a couple of rage quits. So these are the battles to keep an eye on. Jono has closed the gap to 1 second as they come around Parabolica. Sorry, we will keep an eye on those 2 for the final lap of the race. It may well be the final lap for 4th, 5th and 6th. Rom, Unsafe and Fever. Unsafe following Rom Elson very closely down into Parabolica for what might be the final time. They may just cross the line with enough time to go. We will see. It looks like time is going to run out, and it looks like these guys are going to settle for this order. So Rom 4th, Unsafe 5th. In fact, unfortunately for Rom, he's the one that has to go through for another lap. Blue Flag spins across the line for 7th. Houdini has managed to hold off British Daddy just 3/10 of a second in the end for 8th. Junkie Sport will bring it home for 10th position. Lee Cole 11th, Positive Ross 12th, Just Mikey 13th. So Rom will take a lonely lap round for 4th place. Pagani will be 3rd. Let's go back to the front. I think Jono has had an issue out of that chicane. He's dropped back to a 2.5 seconds. That might be it, to be honest. We were looking for drama on the final lap there, but I think the gap dropped almost immediately from 0.8 of a second down to a 2.5 seconds. So that may be Kurt Jono's challenge for the win, and it looks like T. Smith will bring it home. We will keep an eye on them before the last few corners just to make sure. Yeah, Jono just pushing it so far wide there, that's going to get him a penalty. Doing everything he can to catch up. He knows he's nothing to lose. Garney's 7 seconds back. And he didn't get a penalty there. I can't believe how he didn't. Nonetheless, he closes the gap to about 3/4 of a second, pushing for all his worth. But it's not going to be enough. Got a yellow flag somewhere for some reason. But nonetheless, T. Smith, yet another win for him. Fantastic performance. He brings it home 3/4 seconds ahead of his teammate TMC Jono. Garney will bring it home for 3rd place, and Rob with his completely unnecessary final lap. Not that he had much choice. He's in for 4th. Unsafe 5th, Fever in 6th. And there we have it. So it'll be interesting to see how the table turns out. Because a win for T. Smith in the first race, a win in the feature race, but not a good race at all for him in the second. So we will wait to see. I get the feeling, as I said before, there will be something to be said from the stewards this week. So we will have to wait and see what comes of that as well. But nonetheless, a fantastic evening's racing once again. Never in doubt when you come to watch FTRL. Of course, if you're watching the stream, if you're watching it back, please do give us a like, share it wherever you can. It helps us enormously. Well, that is about it for tonight. I hope you've enjoyed it. Sorry again for the slightly late start. We will get it 100% perfect by the end of the season, I promise. Join us for week 10 of the season. It's going to be spot on. But for now, I hope you enjoyed this evening's race. Please do join us again next week. What is next week? I've removed it from my lobby ticker, you see. I'll have to look it up myself. Week 4 will be Sardinia B in the McLaren. So the McLaren's always a McLaren 650S, also always a interesting car to deal with. Let's put it that way. So please do join us then. So same time next week.